Welcome back to Mountain Connections. Right now, it's one of our favorite days of the month as Bill Humbert, Recruiter Guy, is right here in the studio to let us know all of the common mistakes that are made when you are applying for a job. So very important information here. Bill, thanks for being here today.
Christine, it's so much fun being here with you, so thank you so much.
It's very nice to have you in person. I know I mentioned this last time, but after so many months of virtual, it was great in the moment, but now it's nice to connect face to face.
It is, and you know, I love these lights. This is amazing.
And we love having you here, and I'm excited to dig into this topic. You've been a recruiter for many, many years, and you've seen these mistakes over and over again.
You know, Christine, it's amazing to me. I think that these people are staying up nights thinking of something new that Humbert hasn't seen.
Keeps you on your toes.
It does, it does. And you know, the problem is if they would just follow common sense most times, they would have no problem getting the job. It's just those outliers that you go, what are you thinking?
Do you think sometimes because getting a job can be a bit of an emotional time, an issue, that sometimes those common sense ideas kind of go out the window because you are stressed out or maybe feeling anxious about it and you just get flustered and things happen that normally maybe wouldn't?
You know, there's probably some of that in there. It's, you know, humans are very complicated. And so there's probably some of that in there, I guess.
So here's the top mistake that, you're right, is a no-brainer, but have you had individuals that you've worked with not show up for an interview?
I have. And you know, I'm shocked when it happens, and the ones that we're talking about not only don't show up, they don't even call ahead of time and say, I'm not coming for whatever reason. And that drives me crazy. For instance, I had one gentleman one time that I knew well, and I had a CEO that I knew well. And I set up the interview, and a half hour after the interview was supposed to start, the CEO called me. Where's your candidate? And I went, I don't know, haven't heard anything. So I called the candidate, and he told me, well, I really didn't like that things I heard about that CEO, so I decided not to go to him. I said, why didn't you call me? He said, I was afraid you were going to try to sell me on going. And I went, but what's amazing is 10 years later, he came back and he tried to disguise his voice, but I recognized it. And you know, you really need to talk to somebody about this job that you have with a new client. And I said, Dan, I recognize your voice.
Nice try.
And then he called the vice president of my new client and complained I wouldn't introduce him. And I said to her, she called me, what's going on? And I just relayed the history, and she went, okay, he's going on my do not ever return a phone call from list.
And from a recruiter side, this does definitely impact what you do, because how do you prepare individuals for interviews? You do quite a bit of legwork to get them to that point.
Well, the expert recruiters, and you know, after 40 years, I like to think I might be somewhat of an expert. The expert recruiters know their clients, know the position, know the manager, and talk to the candidates about all of that. So my current client is Spectrum Engineers. Great company here in Salt Lake City. They like people who are hungry, humble, and smart. And that's one of the things that I'll tell my candidates when I'm talking with them. And so when you know about the company, then you know how to prepare them, including dress. I had a client back in Virginia. They wanted everybody dressed in a suit. They didn't have to have a tie, but they wanted a suit. And I had an accountant set up for an interview, and I asked him, or I told him, this is what they expect. And I get a call from the receptionist when he arrived. He's got casual clothes on. I went, it's not going to go well. And so I went, so what didn't you understand when I said suit? They'll take me. I went, okay. And so he went in and he went out.
I like that. Hungry, humble, and smart.
Isn't that great? I love it.
That is great. Something else that is a common mistake, or maybe something that people don't realize the depth of importance to, are applications.
You know, HR departments are administrative compliance organizations. And so an application is a legal document, and they expect you to complete an application. I sometimes have a problem about when they expect it. I would rather see them expect it after an interview is set and then before the interview. That doesn't always work out. So I had one candidate one time. The client was Trex Company, so the composite wood deck and railing material. And for some reason, he chose not to complete the application online. They gave him the paper application to complete in the lobby. He decided not to do that. And then HR came out and said, pass me your application. He said, well, I haven't completed it yet. She said, well, why don't you come back to my office? So he goes back to the office, and she says, sit down there at the corner of my desk, complete the application. I'm going to do email. And he didn't get a job. Just follow directions.
And these are hard lessons to learn. They probably thought, the one individual who decided to wear something more casual than you recommended probably thought, it'll be fine. I can do this. Or the application, it's not that big of a deal. And then they don't get the job, and I'm sure probably regret later missing out on those opportunities.
Great companies too. So it's too bad.
And in fact, you have a job mantra.
I do. Respect others, and they will respect you.
That's a good point. And as a recruiter, that's what you want in that relationship from both of you.
Yes, it's exactly what I'm looking for.
And today is a big day for you, I want to mention.
It is. Today is our anniversary. It's our 48th anniversary. Woohoo!
Well, congratulations. I'm sure Linda's at home tuning in, excited to celebrate.
She is. Yes, she was going, now what time are you coming home?
Any tips? Especially if people are newlyweds or maybe going through a tough time, what's your advice?
Well, respect your wife, respect your spouse. They will respect you.
Very wise words. And
Thank
I
you.
also want to ask you about your book. There's some big news coming.
Yeah, big news on my book. Finally, Expect Success, The Science of the Over 50 Career Search is going to print in 2 to 4 weeks. Yay!
So exciting. You've been working on it for a year, I believe, many months.
Yeah, it's over a year, actually. It's probably been 13, 14 months. So I have a new publisher, Dorrance Publishing, and I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to getting this book out. It's, this is one of those, it's even as hard as pregnancy almost, it's you got to work on it for so long.
And I'm curious about this book. I know we've talked about it on the show before. Just a quick synopsis of what it is and what people can expect and who it's targeted for.
Well, it's targeted for anybody, mid-40s to 60s. And in my book, I have stories of those people who found success or, sometimes maybe didn't find success and the reason why not. And the important message, though, is companies are hiring people at all ages. I recruited an IT auditor who was 66 years old for a company by the name of Transamerica. So he stayed with them for 2 years as an IT auditor, and then they promoted him to director of IT audit. So I think he was 72 or something like that when he retired.
Oh, just incredible. Well, where can we get more information about you, everything you're doing, if we want advice or help or want to read your other books and want to get posted of this upcoming book, where can we go?
recruiterguy.com, and you can always connect with me on LinkedIn. It's linkedin.com/in/recruiterguy. Very easy.
You're very active on LinkedIn, and very much appreciate you being here on Parkside Television Mountain Connection. So thanks so much, Bill.
Thank you, Christine.
All right, recruiterguy.com. You can get all the information about Bill, everything that he offers, also his different books, and stay posted on his upcoming book coming up soon. And we appreciate this discussion about common mistakes that people make when looking for a job. We'll be back with more here on Mountain Connections right after this.